Hello, this is my first impressions of Sunset. Unfortunately, I don't have access to the map. I would like to have that in the future, obviously. But for right now, this is what we're going to have to work with. It's fine. And so this is the picture of CT spawn. I actually have this up as well. So we can have a look at like where this reference is. So this screenshot is actually this. Oh my God, that's thick. Is actually like this. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. I think the map, like aesthetic wise, is pretty cool. This is a site. So on this thing, it shows that the map that you can plant on top of on the box. I'm not sure if that's actually a thing, if other maps do that as well, and you can't actually plant on boxes. But yeah, according to this, you can. Could be wrong, obviously. It might do it on other maps as well. I didn't check. I probably should have checked. But yeah, I think overall this site is pretty good, pretty balanced for. I think it's pretty easy site to retake. In general, so what I'm gonna say is this map does not have like a long sight line, right, for attackers to have. So there's this sight line here, there's this sight line here, and there's nothing else really for attackers, right? They can have a flank through mid, so they can go all the way up here. This is a bit too thin, isn't it? Let me just go for. There they go. So yeah, they can do a flank from mid and go like either one of these routes, but there is no like long like A main sight line or like B main sight line like there is on B over here. A is like pretty close range, and I think this is pretty good. It's like one of the few sites that I would say has like basically zero long sight lines. But I also think it's going to be a nightmare to defend in the retake for attackers. But I think it should be, and I don't think it's necessarily the easiest site to take either. But obviously, I don't 100% know that because I haven't played the map. But just looking at it, like mid control doesn't have a big emphasis on this map. So with B, for instance, there's a big reason to take this for like B flanks later on, or just general holding the site, because there's not really much geometry to work with on the site. And generally you have this long sight line as well. So generally you're probably going to see defenders, or like attackers, sorry, play in these two areas when they actually plant in like here, basically, is what I'm assuming is going to happen for this long sight line and for this sight line. And also potential flanks through here. And then defenders' options are obviously to go through down here and take this spot off off attackers, and then go back in. And obviously, you know, there are options for like long flanks like this for attackers. So it's quite an intricate map through mid, and I actually really think the map is quite good, quite well designed. At least towards this portion, I think maybe A is a bit scary of a concept for Valorant, but I'm happy to see where it goes. It might get changed in the future. Wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility to change things in the future. But yeah, I think A site's quite risky, but I do like them taking the risk on like a different way to approach the sites. I think it's pretty cool. There is obviously a new way to approach the site over here too, with like going around this like square, this like big rock like building in the middle. I think it's pretty cool. One other thing as well, so I wanted to talk about with A is that mid goes directly into B, kind of like you can go into like this B connector and then go into B. A doesn't really have that. A connector is like here, and then it goes back through the main. So taking mid isn't important for A. It's nice for like the lurker though, to like lurk up mid and go through one of these, or I guess all the way around if that happens to be the timing they have. Like, I think generally the map is pretty nice for lurkers, for splitting, etc. I think A is a riskier site, but yeah, I like it. So I think in mid, so I think the barrier for mid is like here, and then the barrier for attackers is going to be around there somewhere. But I actually think CT have the advantage, and you want the CTs to have the advantage in mid at the start of the round. And the reason why you want that is because you want the attackers to have to make decisions around taking mid. Do I want to take mid for the advantage it gives me, or do I want to go somewhere else, right? And just like, forego the advantage that gives me for another benefit, right? Or maybe we don't have enough resources to take mid, because you'll need resources to take mid. You'll need a flash, you'll need smokes. So do you want to use those resources to take mid or not, right? And you want those questions to be asked by attacking players. You don't want it to be another version of like Old Breeze, where you could commit like a silver dart and a KO flash, and you've got mid. So you don't want it to be like that, right? You want it to be, obviously that's more simplified than what actually happens, but it is basically the gist. But CT tend to have I think, much more of an advantage in mid right now, mid for this map. So they have the barrier closer, I think, so they can take this, and they can also go into this high ground up here. They can like do a strafe jump onto this little thing here, and they can also probably build mid faster. So I do actually really like. They could also probably populate B link faster as well, which means that they have a fast rotation as long as they hold mid, which I think is pretty cool. So I think it gives the attacking team, and there's an incentive to take mid as attack, basically. Is what I'm trying to say. I think it's very important. There's also a little window here as well for A link, so util can go through here. KO flashes are going to be really nice through that window, I think. Maybe silver darts, things like that. And I'll go over like who I think is going to be strong on this map later on. Sorry, next one is going to be, I think this, I'm not actually sure where this is. I'll be real. I looked at the map a couple times. I couldn't tell where this was. So someone might have to enlighten me in the comments. So I can't tell where this is. Actually, wait. I think it's this area, maybe. There's a box. Because I think this part is like this. So I think it's this area. Yeah, it is. It is. Okay, yeah. Because this is where the steps are. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. I got it. I finally got there. I'm a bit slow. But yeah. So this is like the mid connector area. So this isn't really an super important part of the map, I would say. I don't think you're going to find many fights in this area, so I don't think it's really important to talk about it that much. So we'll just move on to this area. So this is also CT. I think it looks pretty cool. Next. And then we have this area, which I think is going to be maybe a lot of place, which is going to be like fought over quite a bit. Because this area here, right? And I think that it's really important for attackers to have this area, because then defenders can just sit in this area and cause a lot of pressure to the attackers. Because if they go through here, the attackers, they can go here. If they decide to somehow make a split through here, then the defenders have both areas to go through and can flank, can defend the site from there. They also have, technically, if they hold this position, then it's going to be really, really hard for the attackers to like hold the retake, basically, because it's going to be that they hold like this sort of area. And then not to mention as well, any B players can have full reign of the map, right? So they can just find a flank, or they can go this way. So it's going to be really hard for attackers to play if they don't take this area. So I'm assuming we're going to have like one attacker at least go through this area to like clear it, or just send like a dart through or something in this area or something. Drone it, dog it, something, prowler. Really, really important, I think, to have this area. I also don't quite know where the smokes are going to land. So I think the smokes are going to be here. There's going to be a smoke here, and there's going to be maybe a smoke here or a smoke here. So I think this is where like the 3 smokes are going to go. But I don't 100% know. This smoke is like kind of weird because it's sort of like on split, where you smoke A and you smoke like too far in front of screens so they can rotate into elbow. That is what this smoke reminds me of. Because it means that the defenders can go here for free and you can't see them as attackers. So in that case, like with this smoke, you would need to have someone holding this position. At that point, you probably just want to do this smoke and then hold this area. So yeah, I don't quite know exactly how A is going to pan out. I will go over B when we get to it, I think. If we get to it, I can't remember if there is a screenshot for B. If not, I'll just go over it. So this is the window over here by mid. Generally, I think it's a nice little area. With some cover here, there's some cover here. So I think it's a nice little area of the map. I actually think that this map is pretty decently designed. I think it's better designed than some of the maps we've had recently, such as Pearl. And I think it's going to be one of the more standard type maps, especially for ranked, where I think a lot of people are going to be. It's going to be one of those maps like Ascent, where it's just sort of average. Like there's nothing crazy going on, but there's nothing like, but it's not like super tame either. So there's not like one-dimensional gameplay like Pearl or even Haven. At the very highest ranks, it's very one-dimensional. A lot of teams are doing all the same thing. So I don't think this is going to be one of those maps either. At least right now, at least not at the start. Maybe towards the end when like Haven got figured out quite, has been figured out for a while now, and it's been played the same. So maybe it's the same here as well. That's like the case maybe as well, but I don't see that as necessarily a bad thing necessarily. Maybe in this game it is, because it's all about like adaptation and things. But yeah, I mean, generally I think this map is pretty nicely designed. So I think this is T-spawn or T-spawn. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's just T-spawn, that's it. So yeah, that's kind of it for the video. Apart from, I'm just going to quickly go over like where I think of the smokes would go, how B works. So generally, yeah, we want to have B control. We want to be taking these areas. So we want to have these areas, right? And I think the retake for defense, they're going to be taking this area and doing a flank into this area and taking this area. And once they've got both of these areas, I think the map geometry is fairly simple over here. And the way that attackers will defend the retake are going to be very easy to like read for defenders that are retaking. So I think once they take these areas with util, it's fairly straightforward to take these areas, take this sort of area. So yeah, I think overall this map is pretty well balanced. I think the sites are going to be crazy. At least a site is going to be like crazy to figure out because it's a different type of site really, with like literally no long sidelines. Could be the judge's heaven, just sitting in here. But there is also a big lack of cover in the sites. I've noticed as well. There's like a little lip here, and there's some boxes, and then there's a box here which isn't actually any cover. There's a box here. There's 2 boxes here that aren't actually any cover either. So there's actually like no cover on the sites. There's attacking cover here. And there's obviously a big amount of cover on the site and big cover like in the middle, and there's big cover here. But aside from that, there's not a huge amount. I guess there's like this little lip here, but it's not exactly the safest. So I think generally this map is like pretty well done. Surrounding the mid section as well. I think mid is really important for B, less so important for Ray, but can help with like lurk timing, or with lurking. I think it's not really lurk timings, but lurking through mid and getting flanks on the A players. I think generally, yeah, as I think they've tried to do, this is a very mid-centric map, and I think this may have even influenced Breeze's changes, or maybe Breeze's changes influence this, because it has to be that CT have the advantage early on in mid. I think it just makes a lot more sense. I think that's why split is always so close, because I think CT, at least when played correctly, I think CTs can have the advantage in mid. Although I think split is like a very big example of T's being able to take mid a bit too easily. So attackers can really take mid very easy on split. So I wonder what happens on Breeze, and I wonder what happens on Sunset if mid is like maybe really hard to take or something like that, or maybe needs some more strategy around taking it, for instance, such as like a split onto the mid like this, right? Throwing like flashes through the window, darts through the window, taking mid like that. Having a bit more strategy to the mid take, because on split it's not very strategized. You can just raid the wall because everyone plays it wrong on CT side, and then use a bit of util, some smokes, maybe a flash to take one of the heavens, and there you go. I think it's maybe a bit too easy on those maps on the split, and I think hopefully it won't be too easy on Sunset, and it won't be too easy on Breeze. Breeze has obviously had that problem a while. T side could instantly take mid with not much util, as I already said. So hoping Sunset is maybe a balance of those two, like a balance of the two. And yeah, I'm hopeful for Sunset. I think the map looks good, not only like thematically, but I think it's good map design wise too. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. I waffled a bit at the end there, but hopefully you learned something about the new map, seen some of the new stuff about the map. I think generally it's pretty cool, and I'm just hoping that when I play the map, it doesn't feel bad to play. We'll see. I think some of the agents that are going to be good on the map, which is what I actually intended to do at the end of the video, but I completely forgot until now. Some of the agents I think will be very good on this map. Are probably going to be like Fade, because I think the double prowlers are going to be quite strong on this map compared to like the single dog and the single drone. Although I can definitely see like initiator combos that we've seen in the past, such as Sova Sky and Sova KO, even Sky KO as well. Although we might even see Sova Sky for the drone and the dog, or we might end up seeing Fade Sova, we might end up seeing Fade KO. I don't quite know if we have Fade Sova. I'm not sure what the duelists are going to look like. Depending on where the orb spots are, we might see something like a Yoru, we might see something like a Phoenix. Don't know yet. We probably won't see Jet. I'm not sure if this is really a raise map. There's not much elevation. Actually, sorry, there is actually quite a lot of elevation. I'm actually wrong on that. There is elevation. There's quite a lot. There's quite a few stairs through the map and things. It might be decent for raise, but we'll see. I don't quite know without playing it for raise. And especially for Yoru actually as well. Yoru might not have like the best of TP places. I think on B he's quite good, looking at it. But I think A he's going to be really bad. So maybe Yoru isn't the play. I think for sure, I'm very confident that Fade is going to be good. on this map. It's smaller, more enclosed map, which usually favors Fade over Sova, because Sova likes it when there's more. It's a longer map, a bigger map, because his recon is a lot more long range. Or at least should I say that Fade has a weakness when it comes to long range that Sova doesn't have, so he's favored in those maps. But because this is like a more enclosed type map, fairly smaller, and there's quite a lot of corners for the Prowlers to clear. I can imagine that this is like a Fade map versus a Sova map. Although I think Sova is slowly clawing his way back into metas on some of these maps. Like for instance on Fracture, I think he recently started getting picked up again. Even though historically it's been a Fade map. So maybe we'll see Sova again on this map, or like say again, we'll see Sova on this map being prioritized despite what I'm saying, despite some of the clear weaknesses he has compared to Fade, in favor for like competitive strengths that he has. So okay, so that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next one.